Coming up on the Merge Out Loud, Seabird hangs out in the Merge Studios with Tower. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome to Merge Out Loud. My name is Tower. We've got the brothers from Seabird on the show today. Ryan, it's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, man.
And Aaron, and we've actually got some history, and this is what I want to start out talking about on the show. Let's just begin with what it looks like to be a brand new band, because people know you as the band from the show Pushing Daisies, and I would say that most fans probably thought that the two of you and your other two members just recorded this song in your garage. All of a sudden it's on TV, like bam, you have money, you have tours. It doesn't happen like that at all. When you first started, you were doing a radio tour. You didn't even have a song out, and I found out you're going to sleep in my bus, in your bus. So you came, you came and stayed at my place.
Yeah. Yep.
And I apologize. My 83-year-old neighbor literally did accuse you of theft. She's 83. I apologize.
We look suspicious.
Yeah, but I mean, when you first started the band, you did this for years. You were an IT guy, right? You had a job. Like, tell me what those early years were like.
I mean, it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of hard work too, you know, kind of balancing a full-time job and at the same time trying to do music and get your band name and the music outside of your hometown, you know. So it was a lot of traveling on the weekends, a lot of taking time off from work, kind of juggling the two. But so it definitely is a lot of work, and people don't recognize, you know, they think when you get signed, it's just, you know, from there it's just easy sailing or whatever, and that's not always the case either. So even, especially now with, you know, the way the economy is, people aren't spending as much money on music. People are downloading more music for free than ever. So it's definitely hard to do what we do, but it's something that it's a huge payoff for us and that we just, you know, couldn't live without, really.
And we're going to talk more about the whole brother aspect of this later, but did this start as a hobby, or were you guys really passionate about, we want to take this on the road and do it full time right from the get-go?
Well, Ryan actually wasn't even living in Northern Kentucky when I started the band. So it was just three of my friends and I just kind of started playing locally, wound up joining this Battle of the Bands competition, and that was the first time we'd ever played live on stage. And we wound up coming in second place out of like 23 bands and had some really great feedback from people that we really trusted. So that's kind of how we, you know, decided to continue doing it. So then I guess probably a few months after that, asked Ryan to join the band. He moved up to Northern Kentucky from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and started pursuing it more passionately at that point, if you will.
Yeah, and you guys had lives going on at this time. You were both married. You've got two kids?
I have three.
You have three
Just
kids.
had my third daughter, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So how in the early days and now did you balance that out of, you know, I've got to give myself to my family, I got to give myself to my job, and I got to throw all my energy into playing music?
I wouldn't say that it's even completely balanced yet, but you know, one of the things that makes it possible is we work really hard to live simple lives, so that when we go home, we can just be with our family. We stay busy when we're home, but we don't go home and work other jobs. So when we go home, we spend all of our time with our families. You know, if you couldn't do that, it really wouldn't be worth it, you know.
Not the guy that's like tied to your BlackBerry all the time. You know?
Exactly.
Go have a life.
Yeah. The other thing is that we feel like it's an investment for the future. You know, like we see where we want to be with our families. We want to be able to bring our families with us. Probably not all the time, but you know, we want to bring our families, our wives and our daughters on the road with us, and we feel like what we're doing now will allow that to happen in the future, because we've seen other bands do that. You know, I don't think we're going to be like this big traveling family band, but
yeah.
You know, you make sacrifices now because of what you see that you want for your family in the future. I mean, I think it's like that almost in any career that you would choose. This one's just different and harder in some ways.
We're going to go ahead and go into your first video, Rescue, here, which the song actually some people know from the ABC drama Pushing Daisies, which you got your song on this TV show, and unfortunately after 2 seasons it got canceled, which is still a great song. Too bad for you guys, you know?
Sure, yeah.
The video is called Rescue. Can you set this up for me real quick?
Sure. We co-wrote this song with brothers Bear and Bo Reinhardt from Need to Breathe, and it's basically just about feeling like every attempt to do something good turns into a defeat or failure, and wanting God to change that into something beautiful or life-giving.
We're with the guys from Seabird. Check out Rescue on Merge Out Loud. Video's Rescue from Seabird on the Merge Out Loud. Coming up, how did a band from Kentucky get so obsessed with the ocean? We talk about that next on the Merge Out Loud. This is the Merge Out Loud. I'm Tower with the guys from Seabird right now. And really, if you trace the history of punk music back, there's a lot of nautical themes in that, with like anchors and ships and the visuals of the albums and that type of thing.
Yeah.
You guys play more of a piano power pop, and you're from Kentucky,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of ocean stuff going on, not just in the name, not just in the songs, but in the videos too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if I wasn't doing music, I'd probably be a marine biologist. For some reason, I was always fascinated with life in the water or underwater. So whenever we'd go on vacation, it was like impossible to get me out of the ocean or out of the pool. Something about the interaction between the water and the sea life. So it was just always fascinating to me. So that's kind of where the band name comes from.
I can kind of guess that maybe you stayed in a couple dingy hotels on family vacations, because there's not supposed to be life in the pool.
Right.
Like that green stuff wasn't supposed to be there.
We had a creek out behind our house, and there was always crawdads back there. So I would take a pair of swimming goggles, stick my head under the creek, or in the creek, and have my G.I. Joe man interact with the crawdads and see him like try to pinch the G.I. Joe man and stuff like that. So I was just always fascinated with water life, or aquatic life, if you will.
And that's really worked its way into the songs too. Right?
It has, yeah. You know, Till We See the Shore. There's several other references to feeling like you're, sinking, or wanting to, kind of just get out of this place where you just feel like you're drowning almost. You know what I mean? But then there's also other references that are a little bit more positive, if you will. Referencing water, the cleansing principles of water, if you will. So, and then we did our CD release show on a boat, on a big paddle boat. Yeah, and that was just a lot of fun. We were floating down the Ohio River while we were playing our songs for about 500 people. So we just like to kind of incorporate it all and make it, visually, kind of go along with that aquatic theme.
Now the Merge is shot in Chicago, and I want to go ahead and actually go to a video here in a couple minutes that is from Chicago. You guys played at a club called the Double Door.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you spend about half your time playing in church settings with worship bands like David Crowder, who you're on the road with this fall, and the other half playing in clubs. And we've had Christians who are in mainstream music on the show, and we've had Christian bands on the show.
Yeah.
You guys really seem to hit like right in the middle, and I'd say you're the only band on the show that does. Like, just tell me about that dynamic, and is that intentional, or did that just kind of happen?
Well, actually, our intention is to play clubs and play bars because we know that it's difficult to get non-believers to come out to churches. But I think it's a little bit less difficult to get Christians to come out to clubs, or at least it should be, So, the Crowder tour was really the first Christian tour, church tour we'd ever done. And so, it's definitely been a desire of ours to be able to bring music to a non-believing audience that they can relate to, and at the same time, be able to find a positive message in it, in a world where, modern day music is definitely not a positive message.
Yeah, there's a lot of darkness to it.
Yeah. Sure.
The song is called Not Alone. Can you set this up for me, just like where this came from in your life, what you wrote it about?
Yeah, definitely. Not Alone is basically about a family who's kind of being torn apart by, whatever, distractions, business, life, and just really kind of calling out to God to be able to restore what they may have lost, the time. And he did, ultimately. It's based on a true story, so.
First time we've had a live video on the show before, and it was filmed right here in Chicago, but I wanted to give a thank you to
we
that
played
guy.
a show at the Double Door, and our friend Adam Hirschman from Take Two Productions came out and filmed everything for us for free, and it turned out really great.
We're going to check out the first live video that we've had on the Merge Out Loud. Seabird, the song is Not Alone. The Merge Out Loud. You just saw Not Alone from Seabird on the Merge Out Loud. Coming up, we talk about the band's new album, Rocks into Rivers. It's the Merge Out Loud. Welcome back to the Merge Out Loud. I'm Tower with Aaron and Ryan from the band Seabird. New one is called Rocks into Rivers, and I would say, I've known you guys for a long time, but I would still say as a fan, this is a big step forward. I loved your first one, but I really love your second one. Would you say it's more, as you grew as songwriters and artists, would you say this is more overtly spiritual? Because I felt like that as a fan this time around.
I didn't feel that way.
No?
I'm not sure why. I guess because this one was, a little bit more about the struggles that we have gone through and less about, less about the spiritual side of things. You know what I mean? Like kind of more like personal struggles within our band or within our, family relationships. You know what I mean? But certainly there are spiritual aspects to the record and some, very defining moments that I think, kind of were set up by the first record,
Mm-hmm. And how did you go about, you actually wrote a song kind of about Michael Jackson on this new one.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, his passing few months ago was one of the biggest things to happen to music in the decade. Like,
Sure.
Where did that come from? You're the only band that I know of that's written a song about it.
Yeah, well, the song is actually about 5 years old, and had been looking for an opportunity to put it on a record, and this is only our second record, so we thought, well, let's do it. And for some reason I had a dream about Michael Jackson kind of returning to his throne, as the king of pop, and what that might mean for guys like Usher or Justin Timberlake, who have basically taken all of their cues from his career and his sound and kind of established their own little kingdoms, if you will, in the pop market. And just what that would, mean for music if he were to come back and kind of, change the world like he did with his music, years ago. So that's where the story came from, and it wound up being one of the funner songs on the record to record. And we've all enjoyed the song and just thought, well, if we can make it work and put it on this record, let's do it.
Let's talk about the faith element of things. You guys said it's a lot easier to get Christians to go to a show in a club than it is to get non-believers into a church show. You want to tell me about that?
Sure. I mean, that's always been a challenge that we've been faced with, but it's always something that we've been very passionate about. We have non-believing family members who won't give Christian music the time of day because they know it's Christian music. So we feel like it's very important to capture the listener within the first 30 seconds with the melodic hook or with some driving rhythm, to get their attention. Because we feel like we have volumes to speak after the show, much more than we would in the 30 to 40 minutes we play on the stage.
Yeah, and it's cool because people think of Christian music affecting people through CDs and through radio and through iTunes and that type of thing. Yeah. I would say that most of the ministry that goes on in bands actually happens on the road and happens one-to-one. Like, what do those conversations look like when you're playing someplace like what we just saw at the Double Door, and people come up to you afterwards and you start talking about music and life?
Yeah.
We always just ask people what's going on with them. It's always like a pleasure to us that someone would want to come up and meet us. Not because we think we're anything special, but it's like we want to connect with people. So if someone has a desire to come up and talk with us, then we want to take that as far as we can. Not that we have like this big agenda, but we just want to be real with people and see what's going on. A lot of times people, you can tell people want to maybe bless us and encourage us, and that's always amazing. But then it becomes apparent very quickly when someone's needy, And one of the things that we always, pray is that, we'll be sensitive to people who are needy, so that we can be a blessing to them,
We're going to go ahead and cut into your new song, which is called Don't You Know You're Beautiful. It's already smash hit at radio. I haven't seen it yet, so this is, at least it's a debut to me, anyway. Yeah. Tell me what the video is real quick. We're going to go to it.
Sure. It's kind of like this vintagey vibe. Most of it's shot in Cincinnati at an old laundromat and a really cool American sign museum with a bunch of neon signs.
With the guys from Seabird, this is actually brand new to me personally, and it's a very new video. It's called Don't You Know You're Beautiful. It's on the Merge Out Loud. You just saw the latest video from Seabird called Don't You Know You're Beautiful. Coming up, we talk about the element of being brothers in a band and also some of the really crazy stuff that can happen on the road. It's the Merge Out Loud. With the guys from Seabird on the Merge Out Loud. Your brothers, you grew up actually, I think, in forced piano lessons, right? Like, this is how it all started?
Yeah, definitely. Our parents said that you had to take at least a year of piano before you could learn any other instrument, so I kind of stuck with it, and Ryan went to guitar.
Who really was the one that kind of, I guess, fell in love with doing this and playing early on?
Well, Ryan was always the band guy, just experimenting with different bands and different songwriting and stuff like that, and I didn't really pick that up until I was in my early 20s.
And do you have like old junior high videos of your parents filming you just kind of rocking out?
There actually is. Ryan was in a band called Father Son with our dad and his buddy and his dad. And there's actually a great video of Ryan doing a guitar solo and falling off the front of the stage.
Into holly bushes.
Anytime you have like thorns in your neck, that's not maybe the best show you've ever played.
No doubt.
And as much as we'd like to think that being a touring band is, great and fun all the time, not only is it hard work, a lot of things can go wrong when you're out there. So what's the craziest of the crazy that's happened just out on the road?
About a year and a half ago, we were in Prescott, Arizona, killing some time. We were cliff diving into a really great lake. And
which, by the way, like, who does that? But okay.
Well, you get bored, And Ryan was tired, so he decided to climb some of these rocks on his own instead of jump off of them. And all of a sudden, I hear somebody calling for help. So I run around the side of this rock face, and I see Ryan in a big pile with his eye all bloody and swollen, his ankles all twisted up. We had to rush him to the hospital. Had to cancel like the next week of shows or something like that. And on top of that, we had a lot of near disasters too. We had a 40-foot bus, and for some reason our bassist would always watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy on his iPod in the center of the steering wheel while he drove us around the country.
Keep yourself awake.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's not like driving a Nissan. Like, this thing is massive.
It's a bus.
Yeah, it's like driving a house. 40 feet long. It's a lot of steel.
So that's as bad as it gets on the road then, falling off things and having a bus driver who might smash you at any moment?
I don't know.
We've had a lot of really bad luck with our buses. We're actually on tour with Need to Breathe a couple years ago. It was actually right before that, and we were in Walla Walla, Washington, playing a show with Need to Breathe, and our bus completely died. Like, it didn't just break down, like the engine blew up. Luckily, we were with Need to Breathe. They were nice enough to give us a ride to Seattle, where we found another bus, but then that bus was even more of a lemon than the first bus that totally broke down.
Yeah, which, by the way, I mean, you've got so much gear with you. It's not like you can just rent something from Hertz and go home. You've got to figure out how to get all the band's stuff, and you've got commitments and shows to play, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. It's hard to cancel that stuff, and renting a van across the country costs about $1,000 anyways. It's like you may as well invest that in a new vehicle.
So what's going on next? What happens with you guys for the rest of 2010?
Well, after the Sherwood tour, we have a couple weeks off, which is great to spend with family. And then immediately following that, we go out with our good friends Need to Breathe for about 2 weeks, and that'll take us out to the West Coast again. So we're really, really looking forward to that. Love those guys, and their live show is at another level. So
Yeah,
really
and they've been a band for longer, and they helped you write your first single, so it's going to be cool to get back together.
Exactly. We've been friends for a while, and they've been so good to us, so it's going to be a lot of fun to be on the road with them.
Seabird, it's been awesome to have you guys on.
Thanks.
Aaron,
Great
Ryan,
pleasure.
we are truly fans of both records from you guys. The new one is called Rocks into Rivers, the Merge Out Loud.